5 Asian sauces, all made from things that you probably have in your cupboard at home. No specialty shops required, no expensive jars of expensive condiments, and as always, easy and no fuss. Today we're going to make 5 Asian sauces that can zhuzh up your salads, your noodles, marinate your meats, make your stir fry fancy, or just have to drizzle all over your dumplings. And all of these ingredients here are things that you probably have in your cupboard at home. I'm going to be showing you my version of the Ivy Bang Bang chicken sauce, which I've made a million times over when I used to work there, except this one has a little added extra. And to finish it all off, I'm going to show you how to make your very own Chilli Crunch. So let's get into these 5 Asian sauces that you need to know at home. The first sauce we're going to make today is that classic bang bang sauce, which is made up of peanuts, chili and sesame oil. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of these ingredients we've got here. I know it looks like there might be lots, but I can guarantee that nearly all of you have half of these in your cupboard already. Whether it's a soy sauce, some sesame seeds, some chili flakes, some vinegar. I have rice wine, but if you didn't and you only had regular vinegar, you can always add that in. We've got sesame oils and peanut butter, but great ways that you can swap out peanut butter is using something like a tahini. And so even if you didn't have peanut butter in the cupboard, you may well have some of that. We've got sugars, fish sauce, and some chili in a jar. This is the kind of thing that you can easily adapt into all of these sauces. Whatever you've got, you can kind of make it work. Let's get into this first one because I can't wait to get to the third one because we get to eat something delicious. So let's start off with this bang bang sauce. If you're new around here, you might not know I've been a professional chef for over 20 years, and my second job in London was working at the famous Ivy restaurant. This is back in the 2000s, Posh and Beck's, King and Queen, you get the vibe. But one of the biggest sellers on the starter section was Bang Bang Chicken, and if you want to know how to make that, go and watch this short up here. But today I'm making a version of this Bang Bang chicken sauce, which is perfect for drizzling over your dinner. So it's a little bit different from the original, but this is my version, and it couldn't be simpler to make. I've got some coconut cream that was frozen in the freezer. We've got peanut butter, or you could use tahini if you didn't have any peanut butter. You need some sesame oil, some chili of some format, whether that's sriracha or just some diced up chili. It could even be chili sauce, which is more like what we used to use at the Ivy. And a little bit of lime goes great in this to cut through the richness and just make it taste delicious. But again, could be fresh, could be juice. This is one of them sauces where you probably have some of these things already. So I'll show you how to make it. It's super simple and easy to do. Because I've got frozen coconut cream, I'm going to put it in a pan and warm it up. But this sauce is great if you warm it up too, because it loosens it all up nice and quick and ready to go. So all you got to do is put in the coconut cream, your peanut, your sesame oil, your chili, your lime. Warm it up and it's done. Oh, so good. If you're looking for this recipe or any of these other 5 sauces, head to my website and you can find it in the description box down below. And a few minutes later, after being on the stove, you've got yourself a silky smooth peanut sauce to go on top of your chicken. You could use it as a sauce for some dan dan noodles. Possibilities are endless. Like anything when you're cooking, always just give it a little taste. Yeah, but I actually think I want it a little bit more limey and a tiny little bit more spicy. Such a fast sauce to make. You've probably got all of the ingredients, and it's an easy way to fancy up any dinner. So that's our first sauce done. Let's move on to the next. Next up on our sauce journey, we are going to make an easy stir-fry sauce. So this guy is all about saving them pennies, because we know that takeout's delicious, but also expensive, and we can make it at home and still have an absolutely delicious dinner. And again, you may well have some of these ingredients already, and you will certainly have the last one. That's right, we're using ketchup because it's sweet, it's acidic, and will balance out all of these other flavors. This is such a quick, simple way to make a delicious stir-fry sauce that won't break the bank. And the great thing about this stir-fry sauce is you've just got to mix it all together. And that's number 2 done. Another super simple sauce. And again, this is where it's always important to taste what you're making. If you wanted it more black peppery, add in some more black pepper. If you wanted it a tiny bit more sweet, add in a little bit more of that ketchup. And if you want that extra little bit of warmth, I like to add in a bit of white pepper. It's my boyfriend's favourite. He probably will be surprised I've put it in. And what is great with this sauce is if you didn't have ketchup, hoisin would be an absolutely fantastic addition because it has them kind of Chinese 5-spice flavours. So if you wanted to get a little bit of that into it, but you didn't have the hoisin, we're going to add in a little half a teaspoon of that Chinese 5-spice. And you've got yourself a banging stir-fry sauce. And you saw there at the end, I added in some water. If you were using this in a hot wok, you might even want to add in 4 tablespoons of water, just so it's a little bit thinner, so that when it hits the pan, it means it's got time for that water to evaporate, but the flavour still to be there. Because if you add in this sauce as it's quite thick, it could quite easily burn to your pan or wok. So just think about how you're cooking it, and you might want to thin it out just a little bit more. You won't lose any of that flavour, it will still be utterly delicious. This sauce, again, amazing. Imagine you're making a peppered beef noodle dish. Add in some of this. You could even add in more black pepper. You could use it to marinate some chicken, almost like teriyaki vibes before they go on the grill. Or you could just roast some vegetables and give them that little Asian twist. Totally customizable to how you want it to taste. Totally versatile, and another banger of a sauce to know. And speaking of banger sauces, make sure you stick around to the end to learn how to make your very own chili crisp. But having said that, let's get on to sauce number 3. All this talk of delicious Asian sauces has got my belly rumbling, so I'm going to get some dumplings on, pop out to the garden and get the one thing that's currently growing in it, because not much is happening out there. If you want to see what is going on, go and watch the video up here, all about my kitchen garden I'm currently trying to grow. So the dumplings are on, the spring onion is cleaned. Now it's time to make sauce number 3, and we are making a Korean vibe dipping sauce. This one totally interchangeable with what kind of chili you have. We're going to be sweet, spicy, and something wonderful to dip these dumplings in. Another super simple sauce. All we need to do is weigh out a couple of tablespoons of soy, some rice wine vinegar. If you didn't have it, you could just use regular, some brown sugar. And now this is where I've got some Korean chili flakes, but if you didn't have them, you could just use regular chili flakes, or again, get the chili in the jar, or some fresh. Whatever you have available will be absolutely delicious. Plus, I'm also going to add in some toasted sesame seeds and my spring onion ends. The sauce is made. It only took a minute. The dumplings are done. Another super quick, tasty sauce. That is yum. I mean, admittedly, it's probably the Korean chili flakes, and if you don't have them, just put some fresh chili in. It will still be absolutely delicious. But all them wonderful sesame seeds and that fresh spring onion on top. I can confirm, it is delicious. Don't you just love dumplings? If you're looking for a dumpling recipe, I've actually got one on my website. Down in the description box, you'll find the details. Head on over there, make yourself some dumplings, and make yourself this banging sauce. On to the next. Just before we start number 4, I would love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you enjoyed this video? And if you have enjoyed this video and you do leave a comment, because those things really help and I really appreciate them, make sure you go check out my other 2 videos. I've made 2 videos which are all about spice blends from things, again, that you probably already have in your cupboard. I can guarantee that out of them 2 videos and the 8 spice blends that you'll learn, there'll be something for everyone. So let me know, because I love to hear from you. But let's get on with this next sauce, and we are off to Vietnam. And this one is also close to my heart because when I worked at the Ivy, I left there and went and worked at their sister restaurant, Bamboo. And Bamboo was an Asian fusion place, and it was the first time I ever tasted Nuoc Cham sauce, and have later gone on to trips to Vietnam. And I thoroughly enjoy this sauce because not only is it great for dipping, much like this guy, you can dress salads if it's hot where you are right now. It's a fantastic way to spice up your salads. You can drizzle it over your proteins, your fish, your chicken, even your beef, or you can use it as a classic dipping sauce. See, whichever way you decide to do it, they'll all be fantastic, and this sauce could not be easier. And before we make it, you really can see this one, the only specialty ingredient is actually fish sauce. Everything else you might already have. When I make Nuoc Cham, I like to warm it up because it dissolves the sugar in a nicer way. So add your vinegar and your sugar to a pan, warm it up, and then we'll add in that sliced garlic and your chili. If you had a fresh one, this would be incredible in here. Slice it up, add it in, and then you just want it to infuse, give it a little taste, and season it with that fish sauce. That is your salty element. It should be acidic, sweet, spicy, and salty. Everything that a Thai or a Vietnamese dish is all about. And you know what? This actually needs a little bit more fish sauce into it, because as I said, it should be salty, sweet, spicy, and acidic, all in equal quantities. Neither should outweigh the other. We can still take a little bit more salt. That's the one. And that's the thing, I talk about it all the time as home cooks. When you're learning things in the kitchen that you've never done before, taste and taste and taste and taste, you will soon start to learn what you like, how you like it, and whether it has enough salt or enough sweet or enough spice. All of these things come with practice, like anything. Never be scared to try anything. This, if you've never used fish sauce before and you smell it and open it and you're like, oh my God, that stinks. Oh my God, that is not for me. I promise you, in this, you don't even taste that fishiness. It just adds incredible saltiness. Don't be scared and give it a go. Yet another sauce that's easy to make, takes only minutes, and this is an absolute classic with a summer roll. And if you've never heard of it or you're not sure what it is, check out this video. They're made with rice paper. You can fill them with whatever you want. They're classic Vietnamese and an absolute banger on a hot summer's day, or a cold winter's day if you want a little bit of a cheer up. Either or, both fantastic. That is our fourth sauce. Now we are moving on to the almighty chili crisp. And here we are at sauce number 5, the ultimate Chilli Crunch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this. It's a crunchy Asian condiment which is full of garlic and ginger, onion and spices. And honestly, it's like a little powerhouse in a jar. But today we are gonna make our own. So let's put this to one side and I'll show you all the things for this one. This one does take a little bit longer because you've got to do a little bit of prep, unlike these guys where you can just mix it all together. But I promise you, absolutely worth it. And this one you can keep for months in the fridge. These other ones will also last. They're great to make in a batch, so you've always got ready to go when you need it.
A few moments later.
You may notice I've got something different on, and it might even look like it's a slightly different day. Well, I've done a classic Del, and as I was starting to edit my sauce video here, yeah, it turns out I didn't press record at quite possibly one of the most crucial points. So what you didn't see me do is add into the bowl the things that you can see here, which are my sesame seeds, my Chinese 5-spice, my sugar, and my salt. But I promise you, that's what you'll see next in the bowl. I also chopped up my onion, my garlic, and my ginger, all ready to go for when I fry it in the pan. So as you can see here, I've heated up the veg oil. You don't want it too hot because we're gonna first put in them garlic cloves and you don't want them to burn, you want them to get crisp. Then we're gonna add in the ginger and the onion. We're going to cook that off as well, and as you can see here, it changes colour from being what looks more like raw to that goldeny cooked colour. Then we'll add in our Szechuan pepper, our cinnamon stick, star anise, all into that oil to fry. And now that it's got nice and hot, we're going to pour it over the ingredients in the bowl, mix it all together, season it up with a little bit of soy, and once it slightly cools down, you can give it a taste. And that is it. All done. You'll notice in the beginning that the oil wasn't stinking hot because we want to fry off that garlic, onion and ginger gently in the beginning to make it crispy and crunchy so that we end up with nice pieces like this. Oh my God, it tastes delicious. If you're looking for any of the quantities for this recipe, make sure you scan the QR code. It's just here and you'll go straight to my website, www.disheswithdel.com, and you will get this recipe and the rest of them. And while we're on this, I'm waiting for it to cool down so we can give it a little taste to make sure it's seasoned correctly. Another thing that you can make, which is an incredible Asian condiment, is XO sauce. And I've got a video where I make it entirely from vegetable scraps. It doesn't have in it any of the original things like dried scallops or Chinese sausage. We are just making it 100% from veggie scraps, and I tell you what, that is an absolute banging condiment. So if you want another one to go with your incredible Asian sauces you've learned today, make sure you give that one a watch because it is sensational. Honestly, incredible. As any of these on top of your rice, on top of your any kind of dinner, mixed in with your noodles, whatever it is, you name it, it tastes delicious. So let's give this a little full taste. It's sweet enough, salty enough, and everything we want. You know, it might not be red like this one is. When other people make chili crunch, often what happens is they might put in some cayenne or some smoked paprika to give it that red colour, but you don't need it. And this is it done. This will only get better with age. So I'm gonna get out my very handy little thing to fill up my jar and get this all in there. And there we have our 5 Asian sauces, all made from things you probably already have in the cupboard. They're all absolute bangers. Let's get them labelled up so that they can go away in the fridge. And if you've enjoyed this video and want to make sure that you don't miss out on any others, hit that subscribe button, even the notification bell, so you know exactly when I bring out a new video here at Dishes with Del. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments down below if you've got any others like this you want to learn. But for now, it's me, my Sharpie, and my sellotape to label these guys up. I'll see you all later. Ciao for now.